What's up, you guys? This is Rob from The Gay Guy Plays, and today on a very reluctantly Halloween edition of Dress to Kill, we're going to take a look at my latest TennoGen haul. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, because I always have to say it every time, there is a bit of a disclaimer that goes hand in hand with this. First and foremost, do not think that I have forgotten anything. I have a list of all of the things that have been released. However, as you guys know, I have a very particular aesthetic, so not everything makes it onto my review. There are some things that are going to be like honorary, kind of mentions, but besides that, if I didn't like something, I'm not going to drag anyone's name through the mud about it, alright? And I need to say that very specifically today because I don't like Halloween. There, I said it. I know that some of you guys are going to have a moment, and you guys are going to be kind of irritated at the fact that I dislike Halloween. I'm not a Halloween boy myself. Like, I've had two exes that were, like, obsessed with Halloween. So, like, 6 years of my life has, like, just been thrown into loving Halloween, and that's really just not me. I'm more of a Thanksgiving boy myself, so a part of me has a little bit of a disconnect with some of the themes that go along here. However, there are some amazing things that have been released, so I figured we should go ahead and take a look at some of those things now, and let's actually start off with helmets. So one of the things that I wanted to point out as a bit of an honorary mention, and I'm kind of gritting my teeth here because a part of me is like, it's kind of an honorary mention but not quite an honorary mention, is the Valkyr Ion helmet that actually came out recently. I think this was from Yadis, and I actually really like the design a lot. I really like the way that the helmet looks on its own. I don't necessarily feel like it meshes super well with like the rest of Valkyr's build, but I love the crown on it. I love the design on it. The face looks really cool, but one thing that I did need to mention that prevented me from buying this straight out of the gate is there are 0 metallics on it. Now, when you have a frame that has a prime frame that goes along with it, you always want to include some sort of metallics just to see how it will blend with that prime, because I'm going to be honest with you, that was really the deal breaker for me. I actually went ahead and tossed it on the prime and I was like, alright, let's see how this kind of goes, and I was like, ooh, all of those bits that could have been metal are not metal. They do not shine, they are not shimmering, and they are not splendid. So part of me was like, very close, but not quite. However, I still do think it's an amazing model. If you guys don't really care about the metallics thing at all, feel free to go ahead and pick it up. Like I said, I love the crest. I love all of that kind of like works back. I love the spikes. There's just a lot of things to really like about it. But for me, kind of like the breaking point was definitely the lack of metallics. Now, moving on to something that embraced the metallics quite well, and I just got all kinds of giddy. I even like redid the colors for this, so I'm gonna end up showing you the colors for our friend Limbo here. Limbo got a new helmet, and I believe it is the Venari helmet. And this thing is oh my god, just get it. Doesn't it just make you so happy inside? It looks so freaking fantastic, and this one is by Volkovi and Sab531. I've actually never heard of Sab531, but hey, listen, they made a beautiful baby, and I hope that either they, continue to play along with each other, or, have their own things going on. But regardless, I think this is probably my favorite, Limbo helmet to date, and it just looks so badass. He looks like a demon hunter, and I was like, I just cannot not, kind of point this out because of the fact that I don't know, it has a little bit of like and I'm not really qualified to say this because I haven't played the game myself, but it reminds me of like Van Helsing and like the Bloodborne hunters. But the thing that I really like about it is if you look at the metallics of the mouth, it looks like, I don't know, it's kind of like demonic at the same time. So I was super into it. I just love it. It's very pointy. It's not how do I put this? It's not a silhouette that we've ever seen in a helmet before, but I really do love it. I don't necessarily love how it takes some of the lighter metallics, but listen, hey, you can't win them all. You got to embrace what you got and you got to work with it, right? So I'm very fond of this. I am cheering it on because I think it's beautiful and wonderful. I don't know if I hit all of the colors, but hopefully I did. If I didn't, well, you can let me know in the comments that I missed it. But legitimately, I'm a big fan of this one. But that pretty much does it for the helmets that I enjoyed, or I'm like kind of want to like spotlight. So let's go ahead and move into the skins. And there were a good bit of skins that I was just super jazzed about. So let's start off with our honorable mention, and that would be the Mesa Devil Ranger. I did not pick this one up myself, and I know that a lot of you guys are super jazzed about it, super loved it. We're super into the design. Me personally, I couldn't get into it. It wasn't something that I genuinely felt that strongly about, but I figured I would go ahead and show you a little bit of a customization that I played around with. So for those of you guys who don't know exactly kind of like how you can test some of these things out, what you can actually do is you can use the base skin, and then you can kind of alter some of the colors on it. And then what you can do is you can go in and you can throw the skin on top of it and it will adopt those colors. So as you can see here, this is my like kind of like gritty cowboy variant of the Mesa Devil Ranger skin. Now, I personally love the fact that there are metallics. You know, I embrace the world of metallics. However, I feel like there might be a little too much metallic. I'm like, y'all might need to reel it back. The other thing that did not win it for me 100% was there's some very shiny textures on the legs. I just couldn't get into that at all, but I think that this is going to be a big hit for a lot of people, especially those shoes. Look at them shoes. Look at those crazy old metallic shoes. Like that's a win in and of itself. So if that doesn't sell you, I don't know what will. Personally, it wasn't, you know, it didn't get me. But you know what? If you like this style, definitely go ahead and check it out. There's like cool bandaging that happens, a very asymmetrical helmet that kind of goes on. I like it, I just didn't like it enough to kind of go all the way through. I kind of like the gloves that they've got going on too. I like that feeling. It's pretty good, just not 100% my taste, but it might be yours, so definitely go ahead and check that out. Moving along, all right. I'm gonna be very, how's the word I want to say this? I gotta be real with you here. We're going to take a look at the next skin, and that is going to be the Limbo Vistixio skin. So, for those of you who are unaware, I have a touch of the tryptophobia, so I'm not super fond of things with pustules and little things with other things in it. It just makes me kind of itchy. There's actually another version of this Limbo skin, which is the Visonia skin, and I know that you guys are going to freak out, but I don't necessarily like using the red color with it, because those dots make me itchy. Like just thinking about them just kind of just like bugs me like big time. So but I did want to point this out. I did want to go ahead and give you guys a look. This is the Limbo Vistixio skin, and this one is by LED, and that is my cat going crazy on a bag over there. This is by LED and also by Hydroxate, and I love it. I think it's really cool. But the only issue that I have with it is the crazy infested pustules that are kind of going along with it. It really makes me crazy. I'm like, oh, the texture and then the pulsing of the light. It gets me. But I do love how they separated the two different colors with the top and the pants, so you can actually kind of like have different looks going along with that. The one thing that I do need to point out that I think might be like a genuine issue, because like some people don't mind the whole infested look, they love that kind of thing, and I kind of want to point this out, is that the metallics on it, if you notice the metallic accents that I have on it, are extremely bright, and that's because of the fact that the metallics on this have almost like their own tint added onto it. So it's kind of like it's hard to play around with like making them bright and like, you know, vivid on their own. Like if I were to put rose gold on it, it really wouldn't pop as much. You can actually see that it's pretty dulled down there. That could be an aesthetic choice, and I kind of like it because, you know what, it does kind of give this feel of rusticness. But if you do want bright poppy metallics, you're gonna have to go into like really vivid colors in order to get it to shine bright like a diamond, or in this case like metallics. But it does give this kind of weathered, older feel to it, which kind of makes sense when we're talking about an infested skin. So still very thematic, still works. As you can see right here, I actually went ahead and did not put in red energy colors onto it, mainly because of the fact that you know what's gonna make me crawl. It's gonna make me itch real bad, and I'm not gonna have a good time. But I think that blue energy colors make it look a little less, you know, making me want to scratch it. I do love the monocle. I think the monocle looks super dope as well. You know, we're here in the Halloween palette trying to get some kind of rose goldy color on it. I was actually going for a bronze, but it was a little bit, I was like, listen, I got all the time in the world, and that's a good enough color to make it work. And as always, like a nice blue color to kind of offset it so that it's not necessarily red and pulsing. You know what I mean? Red and pulsing. I was this close. I'll be honest. I was this close to make like a flesh caliber version of this, but I know that might be taking it just a slight bit too far. The next skin that we're gonna go ahead and talk about is one from our boy Faven, and I'm gonna tell you, for those of you guys who are not into Atlas, you might be into Atlas after this. We'll see what happens. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we got going. But this is the Atlas Garak skin. I am in love. I am in love. It's really, he always does a good job of making things very easy to color, but when you make something so easy to color, then it makes you want to play around. Because I'm going to be honest with you, this purple, I'm not sure if it's like the finalized version that I want. I might go a little bit darker. I might even go into blues. I was thinking of doing like a blue one because I think the blue looks nice, but I've done so many blues with Graxes that I'm like, all right, we got to kind of change that up a little bit. So I thought I would go with violet. I'm going to make it just a little bit darker here just to kind of give it a little bit of a different theme. Let's make the SANDR match because it's bad of me not to do that. But yeah, so this is what we've got going on, and I was laughing because originally this paint is supposed to look like bloody, like it's smeared blood all over, you know, all over the front of him, and it looks really deep and dark. But we were on stream and I was like, let's make it look like semen. Let's just make it look like someone went with semen all the way down him. And you know what? Hey, I'm actually really into the look. I actually really like the way that it looks with the white paint smeared down the front of him, and on his apron it's like he was trying to wipe off and it just started getting everywhere. But regardless, no, I am a big fan of it. I think it looks really dope. You guys already saw that color. It's a nice addition to the Grax skin. I really like the fact that it's taken a little bit of a different turn, mainly because of the fact that Graxes always had the weird swirly designs on it, and this is the first Grax skin that doesn't have that, but instead has this cool, almost war paint theme to it. And I really like the fact that it's war painty as opposed to like just shmeary. There's just a little bit of metallics on there. I wish that there was a little bit more metallics on the front, because when I was first previewing this, like I'm gonna shake it up a little bit. Shake it up so you can see that there's just a little tiny bits. I wish there were maybe a couple details up front that incorporated some of those metallics a little bit better, so it wasn't just so, you know, wasn't so hidden away. But you know, when you're looking at the back, which we know the back is just as important as the front. We're gonna be looking at the back a lot, if you know what I mean. Let's go ahead and move on from that. Let's give you the energy color too, though, because I know I was gonna leave that out. All right, here, let's get rid of that so there's no confusion. And then we're going to move on to the next skin that I'm super excited about, and that would be, okay, the next two skins, let me tell you right now. Next two skins that you're going to see have replaced other skins in their A slots. They have replaced other skins in their A slots, and let me tell you, it's for fucking good reason. And the next one that is coming up is actually the Ninja. Yeah, back to back. This is a back to back. I didn't even realize that I was doing it back to back, but this is the Ninja Yaksha skin, also known as, I think, George. This one's by Faven as well, in collaboration with Silverbones. But dude, tell me he does not look so dope. I love it. I'm actually gonna get rid of the attachments real fast. I wanted to show you like my final customization of it, but let me give you the details so you see all the details. Is there a move all button? No, there isn't. Now, this is gonna be a little bit more difficult to color. I'm gonna be frank with you. I had a little bit of a time trying to decide what I wanted to do with it. But let's be completely honest. He just fucking looks insanely good. Like this, I was playing around with it when I saw like his kind of like, you know, first drafts of this, and he had put it out, and I was like, oh, that looks kind of good. I mean, I like it. It looks nice. Like it's definitely different from the stuff that he'd actually done in the past. And you know, there were certain things that I was like, okay, maybe move this coloration from this spot to this spot. It's cool. But the one thing I do have to make note, you see these twirly things that kind of go down his chest. Those twirly things are black. I don't know if that's a bug, I don't know if that's intentional or unintentional, but those things are set to just be black at the moment. I don't know, who knows, they might change it down the line, maybe that's just a bug and they didn't, you know, put that in. Those are untintable, which for me is kind of okay, because legitimately the rest of the skin, I wanted him to look like a little mini demon lord. But can we talk about these goddamn horns? Look at those freaking energy effects. And the crazy thing about it is it looks like it's just on the helmet itself, but literally if you're out in like the plains, you'll actually see this blur and this kind of like I don't know, this kind of like wavy effect that appears over them. It's actually it looks like it's an energy sheath that kind of comes off of the horns, not just like something built into the horns themselves. It looks so good. You don't understand. So I was playing around with it and I had it on like my second customization and I was like, let's move this up to the front. Let's see if it's still there. Hold on. Yep. I had it there and I was playing around with it and I was like, let's move it up to the front because I like it in my A slot. I really, really do. I don't know if this is actually going to show it too well, and I want to kind of give you guys a heads up. If you own the Ninja Divine skin and you kind of want to play around with it, can I just tell you? The helmet looks fucking good with the Divine skin too. So you can mix and match those two because the Divine skin has the flames on it and then this thing has literal flames on it. So I'm just pointing that out because when I first swapped over from the other color of the Divine skin, the thing that was in my original first slot, I was like, oh shit, I just put the helmet on and I was like, the Yaksha helmet looks so good on it already. Like, I don't even do anything about this. Like, this looks right. This looks right. It is very, very good. He did a fantastic job in it. And this is my new primary for Ninja. I didn't even show you guys the colors. I got so wrapped up in the whole thing. The only thing that I do need to kind of point out to you guys is the primary and the tertiary, you really got to work at making them blend together. I know that it doesn't really seem like I made them blend, but I did want them to be slightly off of each other so that you can see some dimension in there. I didn't necessarily want it to be, you know, the exact same. I can even lighten that up just a little bit more to show more dimension, but I felt like the texturing on this was already very intense. So that's a little trick for you guys. If the texturing on a skin is a little too intense, just keep the colors a little closer together so that way it doesn't, you know, kind of like busy up the frame too much. That's just my little inside tip, so just so you know. And I kind of had to figure out where I wanted to place the colors on this one. Again, something that happens when you have a busier customization is you really got to look for the spaces where you're like, all right, this is where I can use color, where it's not going to be super obtrusive, and then these are the little places that you kind of got to steer away from. So that's the customization for him. Really, really, absolutely love this skin. I like, Ninja, you look so badass now. I think that Megan probably just had a moment. She was like, yes, this skin, so good. Now, we're going to move on to the very last skin that I want to feature, and I'm going to tell you right now, after my own goddamn fucking heart. Does not have a stitch of metallics on it, and I'm still slightly bitter, but goddamn, this Titania skin. What is even up with this? I got to make her float. I'm sorry. I know that everybody else, you know, had to deal with the sword, but I gotta make her float. This is my new primary skin for Titania. This is the Unseelie skin, and this is by Reiku. Now, Reiku in the past, for those of you guys who don't know, just does not have a history of doing metallics whatsoever. However, he doesn't need to do metallics. He doesn't fucking need to do metallics. It just looks goddamn amazing. It just looks goddamn amazing on it. As you can see, I can't even begin to start. Like, he uses mattes very well. He uses etching very well. There are several spots in the frame that I kind of like where he does, it's like one solid color, but he does certain parts a little bit lighter. Kind of like how LED or LED or LED, I don't know how he puts it, but change the kind of like the light reflection level of the metallics. Like, it's kind of like this color right here actually dictates two different parts, but you can see that the lining is actually two different areas, which I kind of love. I think it's really, really cool because you get a light part and darker part, and that way you don't really have to kind of like force too many different color nodes in there. But I think the skin itself is just absolutely gorgeous. I think he did a fantastic job. Am I going to deepen it? I'm going to deepen it. Live on air. You see it right now. Oh no, I made her float back down. We all float. We all float here. Yes. Let's go ahead and take a quick look. So yeah, I just love the feeling of it, and I'll show you another customization that I was working on too. We actually get to this color there. So I think I showed this. I did that. I did this. And then let's go ahead. This is the color that I've been playing around with the most, because I really kind of like the fact that you can do a lot with this. See, you can kind of like make it a blue, right? And then I could change the energy color to make it a little bit bluer. I can make it a little bit green. And it just works well, like the way that the textures work along with the skin's details. There's so many different looks that you can come up with this that just, it's like one of those skins that's like complex but also really simple at the same time. The only thing that, you know, of course, makes my heart hurt is that there are no metallics on it. And I wish that there could have been some metallics somewhere. It would have been nice. But listen, you know, when you get a good piece, you have to be like, all right, let's stop. The only thing that I do need to mention though is there are certain parts that are untintable, like right here on the chest. There's a little bit like of kind of like this cool metallic gray that's on there. It's not really a metal per se. It's got a little bit more shine. It's like a matte metallic, but you know, they're there. You can't tint it. Just be aware of that. I don't really feel like that detracts too much from the frame itself, but that's just my personal opinion on it. And I think that is about it that I picked up from TennoGen round 10. Let me know what you guys think about these skins that you've seen thus far. Let me know what your favorites are. If there are any that you're like, Rob, you really pissed me off because you didn't show off the XYZ skin. You can rep for them. I'm not gonna rep for them, but you can rep for them. Regardless, let me know how you guys feel about everything that you've seen thus far. Are there any skins that you're really excited for? Are there any things that I don't know. Are you excited for Halloween? How about that? Are you a Halloween person? Or are you a Thanksgiving person? Or are you a winter holiday extravaganza person? Is that how you are? Regardless, go ahead and leave all of that in the comments below. And as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch your body. I'll chat with you guys next time. Bye-bye.